Hi everyone, welcome back to episode 3 of our podcast, our Stereotypes podcast, and I think we have a name for this one.
Yeah, I think we do. I think it's...
I think we found one.
Okay, so I think it's based off of Statler and Waldorf. Waldorf, yeah, Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets.
From the Muppets.
And you actually did an Instagram post.
Yes, and he won't let me take it down, so...
Yeah. So anyways, Statler and Waldorf, if you don't know, is a couple of Muppet characters that are up in the...
box seats.
Box seats, right. And they always look down and kind of not make fun of people, but they're like hecklers.
Talk about people.
Yeah, so that's what we do, but in a positive way.
Positive way.
But, so anyway, based off that, I think we're like a good duo, so...
Yeah.
We're going to become the duo that you know, right? So it's going to be a father-daughter duo, yeah. And so we hope to be able to answer any questions or whatever, and you guys will get to know us, and we'll get to know you, and
get both sides and both perspectives of things.
On how like an older generation as opposed to a newer generation, younger generation, how they feel. And I think it's a good dynamic between the two.
So today we have part 2 of my dad talking about high schools back home in Hawaii and seeing how the times have changed.
Yeah.
So today we have part 2 of my dad talking about how like the different schools back home in Hawaii and just how times have changed and giving his personal experience, or if he did have an experience from that high school, and just like the different things that went on in his time.
Right. And it's been not too long, but
it's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Half a minute. It's been half a minute. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about the different high schools, and it's from a TikTok. This is part 2, actually. We did part 1, so if you haven't seen that, go watch that video. But it's about, he talks about, I guess, about the stereotypes of high schools in Hawaii. So let's dive right in and check it out.
I went to Kapolei. Of course, the police comes to our campus every other day.
Okay, so Kapolei wasn't around. I don't know if the city was around when I was there. I don't think so, but the school definitely was not around when I was going to high school. But your cousins go to Kapolei. And Kapolei has Hawaiian homes there. And so, what did he say? He said the police...
Police are there every other day.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that's if it's a rough area or not. But your cousins go there. I don't think they have any issues with
I don't
school.
think they do. They don't talk about any, but shout out to my cousin. He just graduated.
Yeah.
Congrats, cousin.
Yeah, he just graduated this past year, Kapolei High School. And we got more of your cousins, too, going to be graduating from there, too. Yeah.
I went to Iolani. Of course, my last name is Yamashiro, Yamaguchi, or Yamamoto.
Okay, so I did go to Iolani, and so that is a little funny, but they missed the most important Yama of them all, which is Yamashita, right?
Yeah.
So, I guess what he's saying there is there's a lot of Japanese people there, but yeah, when I was going there was a good mixture of all different kinds of students and whatnot from all over. But yeah, I don't know if it's changed since then, but I guess that's maybe the stereotype is they're all Japanese students or whatnot. But yeah, I mean I don't think so. I think from what I've seen in the news and whatnot, it seems like it's more cultural, but who knows? I mean, I haven't been there in a while. But I will say that, of course, just like at UNLV where I went, at UNLV when I went, there was no law library. The library was the old one. But now, as soon as I graduated, a couple years after that, they got new libraries and new buildings and all this stuff. And just like with Iolani, when I was there, after I had left, I think they built a lot of new things. And when I was going there, I think a lot of things were under construction. So we would see the construction there of new buildings and whatnot, but of course we didn't get to enjoy it because we had graduated by that time. But Yeah, let us know. Is that, I don't know if that's the stereotype is now for Iolani, but
A whole bunch of Japanese people there.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, don't forget Yamashita next time.
Yeah.
I went to Castle. Of course I'm a 4-4 banger, and I never graduate.
Okay, so Castle, so I live in Kailua, and Castle's in Kaneohe, right? So Kailua and Castle were kind of little rivalries back then, but Castle was a good school. I know some guys up here that went to Castle, and he said 4-4 bangers. Is he talking about their height, 4-4? I don't know. I don't know what that is. He said 4-4 bangers and what?
4-4 bangers and...
Hold on, let's watch that again.
I went to Castle. Of course I'm a 4-4 banger, and I never graduate.
And then
4-4 bangers and never graduate.
they never graduated. Okay. I don't know if that was the case. Again, going back to, I think Waianae was in the first one. The Waianae High School was in the first one. And so again, if you watch that video, I was talking about how when I was going to high school, there was a big fight. The football teams, Waianae and Castle, were playing, and there was a big fight at Aloha Stadium. That
bench cleared.
yeah, it was pretty big on the news too. But yeah, he said that they don't graduate, so I don't know. I don't know if kids from Castle don't graduate. What I do remember about Castle High School though is because I played baseball, and Castle, I'm pretty sure it was the same field. They have this wall in left center field, and it's really tall. It's like a really tall. Most baseball walls are 8 feet high or not very tall, but this one was like part of a. I don't know if it was part of a. Like a home was back there, but it was super tall, and I remember, and I'm not joking. True story. I actually hit the ball, and it hit the wall, but it didn't go over. And I don't think they count that as a home run. I think it has to go over the wall, which is almost impossible from what I remember. I mean, this thing was super high, and but yeah, so that was the longest single because I'm watching, right? When you hit the ball, you kind of watch it, so you just kind of trot along watching the ball, seeing if it'll go over. But yeah, that's what I remember about Castle, and I had some friends that go there, but never any issues. They all graduated, but maybe times have changed. I don't know.
I went to Kailua. Of course I live in Waimanalo, and I bleach my hair blonde.
Okay, so again, I grew up in Kailua, but going back to Iolani, I heard that the three names, and in my class, there was myself, but there was only one Yamaguchi. I don't know if there was, did he say Yamamoto? I think he said Yamamoto. I don't think there was Yamamoto. I don't know if I even knew of a Yamamoto at Iolani, so I don't know, whatever. But anyway, going on to Kailua, so I played baseball in Kailua, so I got to know a lot of people that went to Kailua. And yeah, great school. We used to ride our bikes out there from Enchanted Lake and go up the path up there. I think I've taken you up there too, but
Probably.
but he said the kids are from so Waimanalo. So there's Kailua and then there's Waimanalo, and Waimanalo is a little further down, past Kailua, and so the Waimanalo kids would get bussed in and go to Kailua, and back then. My cousin lived there in Waimanalo, and a lot of Hawaiians there. And back then it was kind of a rough place, and so they had these shirts a long time ago, and it used to say, they used to have these shirts that said, Paris, Tokyo, really high-end places, Paris, Tokyo, New York, and then would say Waimanalo on the bottom, kind of like poking fun at it. But yeah, back then Waimanalo was more of a rough area. I don't know how it is now. I don't know if it's toned down a little bit. Because you said kids with bleached hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of surfers that live out there now. I don't know. I don't know how that is, but.
Well, I know for baseball, they all bleach their hair for playoffs.
Is that what it is? Kids are just bleaching their hair in general now?
I think. I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's it. But yeah. Waimanalo is a cool spot. Knew some kids from there. Like I said, my cousin was from there. My auntie lived there, so we'd go to her house a lot. And the good thing about Waimanalo is they had big properties. So wasn't just like a home. It was
A home and then land.
yeah, like a kind of a big yard and kind of an area to kind of play around and run around in. They didn't. I don't think they had much homes. It wasn't as compact as Kailua, but yeah, Waimanalo was cool.
I went to Kala Hill. Of course I live in Kailua, and I'm naturally blonde.
Okay, so Kala Hill is in Kailua. So I lived in Enchanted Lakes, which is one part of Kailua, and then there's actually Kailua Town. And then on the other side of Kailua Town, which I really didn't go, but it was Kala Hill. And so I think that was like more by Aikahi side. But yeah, I used to ride my bike. I never really went past the Zippies in Kailua. There was a Zippies in Kailua, but I would never really go past there. And if you go past Zippies, that's where you start to get into like Kala Hill territory. But yeah, so Kala Hill, that side has a lot of Caucasians, right? So that's why he's saying
I'm naturally blonde.
they're naturally blonde, right? It's because because those homes out there, once you start getting, especially by the beach. In fact, I think I took you there, but I would ride my bike and we would cut through one of the homes and go to the beach in Kailua, and we'd have to kind of go through that little area. So those are really nice homes. Of course, they're expensive, and you need a lot of money to live there. So I guess that was
The naturally blondes.
yeah. I guess the naturally blonde people could afford to live there, and that's why all their kids were naturally blonde. But Kala Hill was cool. I mean, like I said, I used to take my bike down there, not very much, but I didn't go past, like I said, I didn't go past Zippies a lot, but yeah, when we did, it was cool, nice homes, access to the beach, so it was fun.
I went to Nanakuli. Of course I wish I went to Waianae.
Okay, so Nanakuli is right next to Waianae, and so Nanakuli is a small. Again, your mom would probably know more about this, but yeah, I think Uncle Kevin lives there in Nanakuli, but yeah, so he's saying that they wish they went to Waianae.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe because it's bigger. Maybe Waianae is bigger. My dad grew up in Waianae, and yeah, I don't. I guess I don't know if Waianae is better or not. People like it better, but yeah, I guess people there wish they were going to Waianae. I don't know.
I went to McKinley. Of course I can't speak English.
Okay, so McKinley is in the center of town. It's kind of down the street from Ala Moana, and so a lot has grown up around that area. When I was going there, it was very. I don't think it was as much buildings as it is now, but McKinley was cool. That's I had a friend from Mears right there that went to McKinley, and yeah, McKinley was good. But he's saying that because around that area, there's a lot of Chinatown. There's a lot of really Asian type, just Asians in general, and a lot of times they don't speak English. So that's why he's saying that. Yeah, of course I can't speak English. I go to McKinley, right? So that's why he's saying that, because there's a lot of Asians, right? Like Asians right around that, in that little area.
I went to Farrington. Of course I get defensive when anyone asks what school I went to. I went Farrington. Why? Huh?
Okay, so Farrington is in Kalihi, and so when I went to the gym, I used to go to the gym. It was called the gym. That was the name of the gym. But so a lot of those guys went to Farrington, and a couple like the COs, the correction officers, they worked at OCC or OCCC, and they worked at, or they lived in KPT. So sometimes I would go there just to kind of hang out. But they it wasn't as bad. I don't think it's as bad there as it is now. But they Farrington, Kalihi has a whole mixture of different. Kalihi is known for having a lot of Filipinos. And back then it was anyway. So they had a lot of Filipinos. They have a lot of Polynesians, Samoans, Tongans, and whatnot. And so there's there's like KPT and all that stuff, which is Kuhio Park Terrace. And so I guess they're proud, they're proud that they go to
Yeah.
Farrington. And like I said, a lot of them went to the same gym that I went to, and they were cool with me. So I don't know, they were real cool. They weren't really standoffish, but I guess if you
Rub them the wrong way.
rub them the wrong way, I guess they get defensive on. Yeah, they went to Farrington. Yeah. All right.
I went to Kaiser. Of course, I never got into Punahou.
Okay, so Kaiser is in Hawaii Kai, and Hawaii Kai is very rich. All right, so they have like something called a little division called Portlock, and they have other things. And so Hawaii Kai, because they're rich, Kaiser, the public school in Hawaii Kai, is in a very nice neighborhood. So in Vegas, it'd kind of be like Palo, right? So Palo has a lot of nice homes, right? Or like, I don't know what schools are in Summerlin.
Yeah, so it's like the kids that didn't get into Gorman, they go to Palo.
Right, they didn't get to Gorman, they go to... Is that what he said? They didn't get into Punahou?
Yeah, they didn't get to Punahou.
So yeah, if they didn't get into Gorman, then
They go to Palo.
they go to Palo.
Because Palo is a rich area.
Yeah, but is that Summerlin or is that?
Oh,
more-
yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know where Palo is.
Yeah, it's like kind of by Red Rock.
Okay, yeah. So they have the really nice homes up there, and yeah, so it's just the same concept where Hawaii Kai, a lot of rich people there, a lot of nice homes, and so the high school, because of that, the high school was nice. The economic status of the kids were higher, and so
Yeah.
that's who went to that high school. But I don't know. Did they want to get into Puno? I'm not sure. Maybe they did.
I went to Olomana. Of course, I have a criminal record.
Okay, so Olomana, I don't know. I don't know if that wasn't around when I was going to high school, but I don't know if Olomana. See, there used to be what's called boys' home and girls' home, and so, and in fact, to get to town, to get to Enchanted Lake, you had to drive through the highway, and on the right, when you're going towards Kailua, on the right was the girls' side, and then on the left was the boys' side. And so I don't know if that's Olomana or not, because he said,
Of course, I have a criminal record.
yeah. So that could be the girls' home and boys' home, where they, where the juveniles go if they get in trouble or not. And I don't know, maybe they have a high school and that's the name of their high school. I don't know. If you know in the comments, let me know where Olomana is and if that's the same one that I'm thinking of from way back in the day.
I went to Sacred Hearts. Of course, I'm pregnant and I don't know who the dad is, but I do know that he went to St. Louis.
Okay, so Sacred Heart is it's an all-female school. I don't know if it's like that now, but back then it was an all-female school, just like St. Andrew's Priory. In fact, I'm still friends with a lot of girls from St. Andrew's Priory, and a couple of them live right here. They work. They went to UNLV, so and their kids go to Silverado. But anyway, so Sacred Heart is an all-female school. So of course, I guess the stigma would be that they get pregnant. I don't know why. So a lot of times what happens is that when female schools and male schools, they'll have their sister and brother school. So in other words, if let's just say, for example, I don't know if this is real or not, but like say Sacred Heart and St. Louis would be the female and brother school. Kind of like they would not be together, but they would just kind of have
Like meetups or
yeah,
whatever.
not necessarily meetups, but just they would just be like I know Damien back then was an all boys school. There was a high school called Damien High School, and I don't know, but I think they would have it to where an all girls school would kind of have like an all boys school to just kind of I don't know mingle with, or I don't know what the correct term is, but they would be able to interact with each other and kind of maybe if they needed, I don't know, if they needed boys for something, for a project, they would call on them so that they could, I don't know, but that's how it is with a lot of girls in boys' schools. They find the opposite to be able to congregate. Yeah.
Well, that's the end of that video.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, a lot of things have actually changed since I was
Growing up.
going to high school. Yeah, not much. It hasn't been that long, but yeah. I mean, it was a good time. Growing up in Hawaii is good. Gives you a good solid foundation. A lot of kids coming out here to Vegas.
A lot.
Yeah, the Ninth Island, and I had a friend who played baseball, and when I was growing up, he actually moved out to Vegas to Bishop Gorman. He played for Bishop Gorman, and he was a pitcher. He was a really good pitcher, but I remember one game he was pitching and I was hitting against him, and he tried to throw this curveball. And this, we were maybe 12, 13. We were, this was Little League, and so he tried to throw. You're just learning how to throw curveballs. And so he was trying to throw a curveball, but he threw what's called a hanging curveball. And so what a hanging curveball is it comes in, but it doesn't really curve, right? It's just kind of like, because he didn't perfect his technique yet.
Oh.
And so it was just like a really slow, smooth and steady, kind of waist high ball. And so, yeah, I hit a home run off of it. I'll never forget that. Because I always thought, because once he moved to Vegas, I thought he'd be, I don't know what he does now. But I don't think he plays professional. But yeah, he came to Vegas to go to Bishop Gorman because it's easier to get scouted here.
Yeah.
And that's why it's good that you guys are here, because it's easier, not easier, but it's a little easier in the sense of being able to travel to California, to Arizona, to Utah, to Oregon, to Texas, just to get in front of some of the bigger schools and bigger scouts and everything. But yeah, I don't even know what we were talking about. I kind of went off on a tangent there, but yeah, I mean, high school has been fun, and so yeah, let us know how things have changed, and again, I think the new name is going to be called
The
Duo You Know. Yeah, and hopefully you get to know us, and we'll get to know you. And one thing that, we actually ran this by Peyton, who we were doing a podcast with as well, and she said, a good thing too is have them comment and ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to get perspectives, we have kind of two different
sides and two different ways of looking at something.
Yeah, male, female, little
older, younger.
Not too much older, but yeah, a little more experienced and younger, just different generations. And so, but yeah, if you have anything and want to get our perspective on what she thinks or what I think, yeah, let us know. All right.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for
Please
watching.
subscribe.
Please subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.